All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is another video in the video series. This tutorial is on levels of evidence. And so levels of evidence really is talking about once you have searched the literature, once you have decided on your either research question, quality improvement question, clinical question, whatever your question is, now you have all these resources, all this literature that you have received, that you have retrieved from the databases, whether it be one database or 40 different databases. And now you have it and you're saying, okay, what's next? What do I do next? And what you do next is now you are going to critically analyze the literature that you've received. More than just on the page of the database, reading through title and abstract, now it's time to, with those articles that are suitable for your program, your project, what you're trying to accomplish, now it's time to really select the highest level of evidence, or at least organize your evidence, which is your literature that you received, that you retrieved from the databases, organize it into the levels of evidence. So as you see on the screen, we have two tables, two pyramids, talking about the levels of evidence. On the left-hand side, this less colorful pyramid is more about the qualitative research study types and the levels of evidence, whereas the right colorful pyramid is more about all levels of evidence together. And so from the qualitative research side, you see that you have single case studies at the very bottom, going up to descriptive studies, conceptual studies, generalizable studies. And you should be able to gather that kind of information from the articles. Remember, not all published research is well written, and so you might struggle with figuring out if this is a single case study, a descriptive study, a conceptual study, or a generalizable study when it comes to qualitative research as well as quantitative research. The pyramid on the right side, the more colorful one, is looking at all sorts of types of literature and really trying to break that down so that it can all be put together. It's just that some of these pieces others would question, but this is the general way in which most literature goes. And as you see from the very bottom are the opinions of authorities, reports. Sometimes this is all you have. If you have a brand new topic you're searching and it has not gone to the rigor of an RCT or an RCT, a randomized controlled trial, is not appropriate for that, then this might be your highest level of literature or your highest level of evidence. Next comes the qualitative studies or quantitative descriptive studies. Then comes systematic reviews of descriptive studies or qualitative studies, case-controlled cohort and cross-sectional studies, well-designed randomized controlled trials without randomization, well-designed randomized controlled trials. And then at the very top of the pyramid are included in systematic reviews, meta-analyses, those of randomized controlled trials, evidence-based clinical practice guidelines, because clinical practice guidelines are all based on all the other levels of evidence that exist, and specifically systematic reviews and RCTs. Remember, you're just like in a pyramid, you're going to find literature, or you're going from the bottom of the pyramid as the lowest to the top of the pyramid being the highest, whether it's on the colorful side or the qualitative, non-colorful hierarchy side. And so that's what we mean when we say the levels of evidence. And again, in the papers that you retrieve from the databases or the journals, you should be able to identify what kind of study did they do. Was it a qualitative study? Was it a quantitative? Was it a systematic review? Did it have a meta-analysis as part of the systematic review? Was it a randomized control trial? Is it a cohort trial? Is it a cohort study, a cross-sectional study, a case control study? Is it really just a report of an expert? Is it a guideline? Those are usable evidence. And so really this is what we mean when we say go for the highest levels of evidence. But know that that may not exist for your topic. You may have topics out there that are either too new or too old or may not be of scientific interest to the majority of people. Don't let that discourage you. Know that if you don't have an RCT because it's not fitting for your project, because you cannot do an RCT on every topic exists. You also may not have any systematic reviews on topics. And so you just go down the pyramid until you find where the studies, each of your studies fit. And again, this is what we're saying when we say the levels of evidence. And it's not a matter of qualitative versus quantitative. Both levels of evidence help answer the question. So I hope this video helps to clear up some confusion and help you understand your levels of evidence based on your question, whether it's a clinical question, a qualitative improvement question, or a research question. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the library, and we will be here to assist you. Thank you.